Keep moving, got to keep on moving on. Keep going on, got to keep on moving on.
You all can make it
In life,
you got to get focused.
Keep on moving,
Sky is the limit.
You got to get there, keep moving, keep marching on.
You can make it
In life,
you got to get focused.
Keep on moving,
Sky is the limit.
You got to get there, keep moving, keep marching on.
Keep on moving.
Keep moving, keep marching on.
Hello and welcome to your one shop for inspirational and insightful stories for persons with disabilities. Able Differently, a program like no other.
It has been said and sung that disability is not inability. It is in this simple but yet very important saying that we anchor our show around. I am your host, Jojo Nyango.
I'm Ruth Mweni.
Welcome.
Keep moving, keep marching on.
The society is opening up opportunities for the deaf people to be able to interact with the regulars. During Easter Sunday at the Holy Family Basilica, there was a launch of the first deaf material. Take a look.
Over the years, the struggle for all-inclusive society, especially where persons with disabilities are concerned, has continued to bear fruits.
Other people may be wondering, why is it so important for the deaf communities to have the catechetical material for the deaf on the Catholic daily prayers, when there are a lot of written similar materials in English, Kiswahili, and even in local languages? Would it be enough for them, they may ask, to just get any of those books that best suits them and learn the prayers? In response to that, I would like to share with you two remarks that for me synthesize the importance and positive impact that this DVD catechetical material is bringing about. First, when we look back in the deaf history of Kenya, many of us who are present here know that the first church institution that pioneered the establishment of the deaf schools and education in Kenya for the deaf was the Catholic Church back in 1961 through the Catholic Mission in Nyangoma.
Many organizations, both governmental and non-governmental, have come up with different programs to be involved in these initiatives.
Your Eminency, be assured of our humble prayers for your ministry. May God bless you. I would like also to thank Father John Asensio, who is my regional superior in Kenya, for your support and encouragement. Your presence confirms our commitment of first evangelization, which is our primary contribution to this local church as Guadalupe Fathers. My gratitude goes also to Father Callisto, the censor of this first catechetical material for the deaf, who together with His Eminence facilitated the process of the imprimatur of this project. Thanks for gracing this moment by your presence. I also express particularly my gratitude to the Catholic French community in Kenya. It's represented here by MS Solange. Your community was very instrumental and resourceful for the achievement of this project. The Catholic French community was the main sponsor of our project, that through their generous contribution and donation, we could be able to acquire what was needed for this undertaking.
The religious institutions have also not been left behind.
Kindly convey our sincere gratitude to to all the members of your community and be assured of our unfailing prayers. In a very special way, I also thank the presence of Mr. Nixon Kakiri, who through your presence is a way the deaf community at large is represented. You are now also a witness of the concern that the Catholic Church has for the process of inclusiveness of the deaf. As we continue undertaking the role of advocating for the basic human rights of the deaf people, we wish to express our solidarity of working not for the deaf, but with the deaf. To conclude, I thank our deaf catechist, Frederick Otieno, for his commitment not only in the elaboration of this material, but also in the service he offers to the deaf community as a catechist. May God bless your hands so that you continue proclaiming his word.
On Easter Sunday at the Holy Family Basilica, there was the launching of materials that will enable persons with disabilities to also get the spiritual nourishment.
I declare the Catholic daily prayers in present sign officially launched. Lord.
Resources such as interpreted materials like the compact discs, which was the main agenda at the launch, is a great step towards realizing goal of the initiative.
What really motivated me to create this, to participate in the creation of these DVDs, because, for example, my work as a catechist, we find it really challenging to teach deaf people because we don't have enough materials for them. For example, deaf people, they cannot really get direct access to information through written materials because that depends on the educational level of the deaf people. Some may be able to follow it, some may be hard for them to follow. So that's why we came up with this idea of creating a DVD where we can use a common sign language so that everyone may use a uniform way of signing and understanding without confusion.
The program is one of its kind in the Catholic Church in the Archdiocese of Nairobi, with the hope that other dioceses across the country will follow suit.
As chaplaincy as such, currently, as far as I know, this is the only archdiocese that so far has a Catholic chaplaincy dedicated itself for the service of the deaf communities. However, I have got some contacts of other priests or even religious sisters who have been working with the deaf people, either because maybe they have Catholic deaf schools, or also they have also parishes, and they are serving the deaf communities which are out of Nairobi. So, but not really as a chaplaincy, as an extract of a chaplaincy is not yet done. Here in this chaplaincy, we are developing this community. So far, we have 7 Catholic parishes that are serving the deaf people in the community.
The afternoon event was graced by spiritual leaders. Every speaker applauded the initiative and promised to give a helping hand where needed.
I am very happy that this occasion finally has to take place. I am also very sorry that there is a problem of time. There's a problem of time on my side, and this is why I have tightened a bit, so that we can do that which is brought us here, and then the rest can continue, even if I am not kind of present. I would like to say that, well, I am also very happy because this ministry is coming to the people definitely who have some kind of difficulties, who cannot hear. And I think the establishment of this is another way of saying that even if you do not hear, you are still persons created in the image of God.
2 million deaf people in Kenya. I take this opportunity to thank you and be part of this today. Thank you for this wonderful job that you're doing. I ask that you continue to do the same, with the same spirit, to support one another and encourage one another, to encourage our brothers and sisters in prayer, and also to follow what is happening in the churches and also out there. As you are aware, if you understand God's word, it's the most important thing that you can have for your health, for your life. Your life will be smooth and straight.
Disability is not inability. That's the quote of the day. What do you think?
Sure. Gone are the days when persons with disability were taken for granted in the society. But today we can see the way they are moving up. In fact, they are doing so many businesses per se. Even you, for example, we have shared so many things. I've seen so many things that you do as a person, meaning that you challenge the society in one way or the other. So I want to believe today a normal person with a normal thinking capacity should not look down upon the persons with disability, but should embrace them and even incorporate them in various activities in the society. They're supposed to be involved, in other words. So they are no longer just any other person to go about, but to be emulated in one way or the other.
Sure. I think I concur with you, because we should all embrace each other, as we all know that we have different abilities.
Sure.
As long as you stay focused with the positive attitude, you can be able to make it in life. Forget about the challenges and everything that you face in your daily activity. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go too far.
Keep moving, keep marching on. Keep moving, keep marching on.
Welcome back. You're watching Able Differently, a program like no other. Derrick Shimoli is a program officer at Kenya Union of the Blind. His life has been a bumpy one, but he has managed to overcome the challenges. He leaves a lot to be desired. Take a look.
Derrick Shimoli is the current program officer at the Kenya Union of the Blind, whose offices are located in Embakasi.
Kenya Union of the Blind is the national organization for blind and partially sighted persons, which was established in 1959 and registered in 1960 under the Ordinance Act as a non-profit, non-governmental, non-partisan organization. It is headquartered at Embakasi, where we are now sitting, and it has branches devolved in the devolved government system, the 47 counties. We are present there. We also have another office in Busia, Amagoro, and our vision is to have equal opportunities for all.
He was born in Buruburu, a normal child with clear sight. Later on, due to health complications, he became visually impaired.
I grew up in the city life, in the outskirts of Buruburu. I went to school. My very first schooling was at St. Joseph Nursery School, sorry. Then I joined a regular school, Buruburu 1 Primary School, where in my schooling days, I used to face challenges occasioned by the condition that I was born in, which was called glaucoma conjunctivitis.
To correct the situation, there were some risks involved, and he decided to accept the condition he was in and find a way to live with it.
Glaucoma conjunctivitis, as you know, is an infection of the eye, whereby one eye could either be myopic or there could be constriction of the optic nerve. But before joining school, I underwent a surgical operation which was successful, and they managed to restore vision on one of my sites. And this is the site that I was using now to go to regular school. But then with time, it deteriorated in the sense that I was not able to visualize well while sitting at the rear end of the classroom.
He went through school learning Braille and other ways of surviving in the otherwise changing world.
I joined the Salvation Army, Thika Primary School for the Blind, where I was taken back from class 7 to class 5 so that I could be able now to adapt with the new system, that is reading Braille, and also being, getting around with what they normally call orientation mobility, O and M, using the white cane and what have you. By then I had not lost that residue side that was there, so I used to manage walking around. I even did my KCP with the normal print, the small print, passed on to my exams, joined high school, and while in Form 3, the condition got worse.
He confesses that education for the visually impaired is extremely expensive.
Equipment or instruments that are needed for persons with disabilities with regard to the visually impaired or the blind, if you like, are not actually affordable. They are very expensive. And for you to secure, for example, a Parkins Braille, which is equivalent to the ball pen that you're using, the biro pen, the ball pen that you're using for writing, is about $1,000. That's equivalent to about 100,000 Kenya shillings. You see, it is out of reach for, most Kenyans.
Derrick has had his fair share of challenges.
One of the challenges that I've always encountered, among others, is that loss. That very, I would want to call it tragic, because I used to see, but then now I finally lost it. And then there's the issue now of you getting around, going to somebody, take me here, take me there. Those are some of the challenges that I know I've been encountering.
Before getting the position at the Kenya Union of the Blind, he had worked in several institutions, which gave him experience.
I also went to Kenya Institute for the Blind, KIB, where I also refreshed on my Braille reading and writing skills. And then I joined Kencall Outsourcing Worldwide. Now, Kencall Outsourcing Worldwide is a call center. Before actually Safaricom came up with the Jumbo Care Center at Mombasa Road, and that magnificent building along Wayaki Way, the Safaricom house. People used to actually call in at Kencall Center, and we used to answer to their calls.
He highlights some of the activities they have at the Kenya Union of the Blind.
I've been helping our members through donor-driven initiatives to be able actually to even go to school. I remember in 2006 to lately 2011, we've been running a program under Steve Lewis, where we used to even pay school fees for our members, so that their children who are visually impaired can also get the opportunity of going to school. We've also been having civic education programs, working with entities like Kuraya and what have you, trying to create awareness or educate the visually impaired communities on actually their rights, civic education on their rights, on their right to vote and what have you. We've also been working closely with the UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and they're seconded to IBC, and it has been good.
One challenge, though, is the studio that is currently not utilized at all due to lack of resources.
We are constrained in the sense that the requisite resources, necessary to equip it to the level of now even broadcasting has not yet come our way, and would actually appeal for that kind of for that kind of backing, so that we are now able to put up a frequency that would actually broadcast within a certain radius, and the proceeds that would be realized out of this through either commercials or what have you would now even be used to reproduce reading material for persons who are living with visual impairment, the learners themselves.
He hopes that one day his dream will be realized through well wishes and promote the unutilized resources.
We really want to demystify that school of thought that disability is not inability, and when you see persons with disabilities, be it the visually impaired, who are around, we don't want you to give them arms, but we want you to put the resources, we want you to mobilize the resources into a system that will be able to make them, or to empower them, to be more meaningful persons in the society.
Keep moving, keep marching on.
Let's take a look at the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
The UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities states that state parties recognize the rights of persons with disabilities to work on an equal basis with others. This includes the right to the opportunity to gain a living by work freely chosen or accepted in a labor market and work environment that is open, inclusive, and accessible to persons with disabilities.
Well, folks, that's all the time we had for you today. Be sure to join us next week for more insightful stories.
You can also interact with us on our Facebook page, that is Able Differently. You can also visit our YouTube channel, that is Able Differently. Also, SMS us on the numbers on the screen, that is 22162, starting with capital AD. Till next time, have been your host Ruth Mweni.
And I have been George Onyango.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.